Hot and humid day, enough to set off a few thunderstorms. Those have now cleared and moving off to the south and east, but a few more to the northwest. There's the activity moving out of the state. Had a couple warnings with those, but no reports of severe weather, thankfully. And look at all that lightning. Boy, it is now heading to the southeast. It's by Cedar Point currently, heading away from mid-Michigan. As we zoom out just a bit, notice to the west, not a whole lot happening. Quiet weather is on the way for tonight. Temperature-wise and muggy-wise, it is going to be very muggy as those dew points begin to fall over the coming days. We'll talk more about that coming up. 6 News at 5 starts right now.
WLNS is here for you, celebrating 75 years of bringing you the news with 6 News at 5.
Another violent weekend in Lansing has some saying law enforcement needs to do more. It's our top story at 5. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jorma Duran. Back-to-back violent weekends in Lansing involving guns have some people speaking out. 2 separate shootings took place, sending 2 people to the hospital, and the suspect behind one of those incidents is still on the loose. 6 News reporter Zach Prees talked with concerned residents and local authorities, and he's here for you now with what they said. Good afternoon, Zach.
Good afternoon, Jorma. Well, I talked to a local anti-violence advocate who believes that a proactive approach may be the best way to slow down gun violence, and he says that it all starts with relationships. Saturday night was a violent one in Lansing, with 2 separate shootings happening within an hour. A 24-year-old and a 34-year-old were shot. Both are expected to make full recoveries. Now, in wake of yet another weekend of shootings, advocates like Daniel Bogan continue to battle violence.
Our work is to engage individuals who are actively involving themselves in gun violence so we can decrease that in our city.
Bogan and those he works with say the most effective method is peace.
They engage them, they build relationships with them, and they let them know that they're not abandoned. We want to change the narrative, and we want to change the outcome in their lives as well as the outcome in our community.
Advance Peace reaches out to people in Lansing who are involved with gun violence. Bogan says they have a team of older, respected men and women who mentor young people who could be going down the wrong path. Sometimes, he says, it's as simple as letting someone know that they're not alone.
They've been abandoned in their communities. They've been abandoned sometimes in their families. They know how much we care about them, and we spend time with them every day.
And Bogan says that Advance Peace had teams of people at the hospital this weekend in support of the victims and their families. And he says that they try their best to ensure that there won't be any retaliation. Jorma.
Zach, thank you very much. We are also continuing to follow a stabbing that took place and injured 11 people in Traverse City. We'll have more on that later on in our show. A federal judge has now blocked the Trump administration's efforts to defund Planned Parenthood and rules that clinics nationwide must continue to be reimbursed with Medicaid funding. The judge made this ruling today as the nation's largest abortion provider fights President Donald Trump's administration over efforts to defund the organization in his signature tax legislation. Today's new order expands on a ruling made last week that restored Medicaid funding for only 10 Planned Parenthood affiliates to now all clinics. Michigan voters could see as many as 11 statewide ballot proposals, and the groups behind those efforts filed documents showing how much money they've raised. Turns out not much, but as I learned from our Capitol correspondent Tim Skubic, one elected official is checking in on one of the ballot questions.
Here's an update on the major petition drives out there. The group trying to tax the rich to raise more money for the schools raised no money, but it did get $20,000 from so-called in-kind contributions. But the opponents, led by many of the chambers of commerce in Michigan, did come up with $26,000 to defeat the plan. Meanwhile, the group pushing to make sure only citizens vote in our elections raised $50,800. And on the group trying to prevent Consumers Energy and DTE Energy from shoveling money into legislative races and others, they raised $40,000. However, in a brand new unreported development in this effort, for the first time, the Democratic attorney Dana Nessel has entered the debate. Asked if she would sign the petition to ban that money, as Attorney General, she said she would not, just in case her department got involved in a legal case over the ballot issue. She put it this way.
I'm not saying anything about this particular, proposal, and I'm not going to become involved in it. But theoretically, do I support that? as a policy move, then yes, I think it's a good idea.
The giant utilities argue they have a right to participate in the political process. And since none of the contributions come from the ratepayers, they think they have that right to do it and they'll fight to keep it. Meanwhile, the Attorney General counters, if you want lower utility rates and improve service, well, what you need to do is cut off the money.
To just take them out completely of political gift giving, or at least minimum, making sure that people know exactly who they're donating to and how much in terms of these dark money PACs.
Just how many of these petition drives actually make it to the ballot is one thing, and then if they get there, it's quite another if they're adopted by you. Your view in Lansing, Tim Skubic, 6 News.
In a contrast to what's being federally recommended when it comes to COVID-19 vaccinations, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services decides it will continue to recommend the COVID-19 vaccine for every person 6 months and older, including during pregnancy. Despite Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. issuing guidance to change COVID-19 vaccine recommendations, Michigan says that it will continue to align with the recommendations of the American Academy of Pediatrics. State health officials say the COVID-19 vaccine remains safe for use during pregnancy, and vaccination can protect children, women, and infants after birth. Redevelopment for the nearly 20 acres of vacant land known as Hazlitt Village Square is on the horizon. The West Michigan-based developers plan to breathe new life into this space with more jobs, affordable housing, and commercial opportunities. Karina Prieto spoke with Meridian Township about the project, and she's here for you now with what the community has to look forward to.
After years of vacancies, there's a new future ahead for Hazlitt Village Square, and township officials say it could be a key to economic revitalization of the area.
We are really excited that we're finally able to close a chapter of this blighted area.
Meridian Township is finally moving forward with redevelopment of the area on Hazlitt Road, been largely vacant for nearly a decade.
There's a shortage of housing both in Meridian Township and the greater Lansing region.
Township Supervisor Scott Hendrickson says the upcoming project will bring new affordable housing to the community.
200 housing units coming in, some of them being apartments and multifamily, some of them being owner-occupied townhomes, which we're very excited about.
The village will also offer workforce housing, which Hendrickson says is dedicated to those making 80 to 120% of the area median income.
Basically guarantees that there'll be more affordable units for folks to come live in Hazlitt and in our community.
And it won't be only homes. Hendrickson says there will be lots of community space and amenities, like restaurants, a dog park, an activity lawn, and a playground. Between the businesses and residential spaces, Hendrickson says the project will also bring jobs.
Well, of course, there are construction jobs that come with the building of the new facilities. Of course, there'll be apartment management that comes along with that, employees at the restaurant and the other commercial spaces.
With all these additions, Hendrickson hopes the township can also invite some new families to the community.
We want to make sure that people are able to move into our community who want to. We've got great school districts and great amenities here in Meridian Township.
Here for you in Hazlitt, Karina Prieto, 6 News.
From Storm Tracker 6, this is Weather First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
We've got just a little more heat and humidity on the way before things begin to change, and you're going to love the forecast later this week. A look back at how these storms formed today. First round formed along the lake breeze closer to Lake Michigan. Others formed right over downtown Lansing and southward from that. And they all advanced off to the southeast very quickly. Had several severe thunderstorm warnings, but I haven't seen any damage reports or any significant wind gusts so far. There's a look at the last of the storms as they are making their way out of the state. So that should be pretty much it for organized precipitation today. One other tiny thunderstorm forming near Grand Rapids, but overall that is quickly beginning to weaken. As we zoom out, we're awaiting a cold front off to the northwest and to our west and to our north, relatively quiet. And that's what we've got in store for tonight and basically through tomorrow. Muggy meter shows the dew points dropping significantly. We're going to remain quite muggy through a portion of Wednesday, and then those numbers will begin to quickly go down. Dew points back in the 50 to 60 degree range for Thursday Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and that will feel absolutely delightful. A look at the temperature trend across the nation over the next 6 to 10 days. Near normal, a little below average. East Coast and West Coast as more warm weather begins to bubble north, and that could be heading in our direction in the long term. Precision cast then for tonight through tomorrow morning. Quiet weather. There's our cold front finally showing up. During the day, hot enough we may spark a shower or thunderstorm, but as you can see, there's not a whole lot of green on the map. Our cold front will start to sink through the region very slowly late tomorrow night and into Wednesday. Still maybe a bit muggy for Wednesday morning, but by Wednesday afternoon, with a chance for a couple showers and storms, the humidity will begin to finally drop, and we'll hang on to some cloud cover and maybe shower chances through Wednesday evening. Temperatures out currently 90 in Ionia compared to 82 in Lansing, 80 in Mason, and 79 in Jackson. On the Skyview network, our current temperature on the McLaren cam 82, dew point 75. However, so it feels like it's close to 90 degrees. In Grand Ledge, we're starting to heat things back up as well. We're back up to 87. Look at that heat index, 101 with a dew point of 78 degrees. That is some muggy air. In Jackson this afternoon, temperature still 79, but the dew point is 73, so it feels like it's 82 degrees. Finally, in Hillsdale, partly cloudy skies, temperature 77, same as the actual heat index with a dew point of 75. Tonight's forecast then, look for a low temperature down to 70 with mostly clear skies. As we head into tomorrow, slight chance of an afternoon shower or storm. High temperatures tomorrow, though, will climb back into the 90s, so another very hot day. The 6-day forecast, cooler on Wednesday at 82, 70s for highs Thursday and Friday and Saturday. Lower 50s for lows Saturday morning. We could see a few upper 40s in the viewing area, and then it slowly warms back up into the mid 80s next week. A few showers and storms each afternoon, but not the muggy weather we've had, but just kind of more typical summertime weather.
I like the typical. I'll take some typical.
Because this is definitely not typical today.
No, not at all. We appreciate it.